Hey guys, welcome to my den. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Chingu, which literally means friend in Korean. It's not my real name, but it's one of my so-called nicknames. Think of me as your friend who's helping you stay up to date with K-dramas as well as Korean movies. I love making commentaries, reviews, and explanation videos about dramas, movies, characters, and etc. Grab your snacks because today's tea is about to be hot. Today, I'm going to be discussing Season 2 from the K-drama Love featuring Marriage and Divorce, while also ranting about my thoughts on various characters and situations. I reviewed the first 8 episodes, and you can find the videos on my channel or in the playlist that I've created for the K-drama. The link will be in the description box. This video will be different from my previous videos. It will also be a bit longer because it won't just be based on specific episodes, but on the drama overall so far. Please remember that these are my thoughts, you don't have to agree. So without further ado, let's get started. I find that no matter how much I dislike the husbands and mistresses, Dongmi remains the worst character of all. This lady belongs in jail, no question. She has groomed Xiun as a child, and this fact cannot be overlooked. Child grooming is defined as a method used by offenders that involves building trust with a child and the adults around the child in an effort to gain access to and time alone with him or her. This is one of the many definitions available for child grooming. There are 6 stages to child grooming: targeting a victim, gaining trust, filling a need, isolating the child, and sexual contact, as well as maintaining that contact. Dongmi has been attracted to Xiun since he was a young boy, and we can even define that attraction as being sexually based. She got close to him while he was in a vulnerable state when his mom was dying and didn't spend much time with him. And now they have a really weird dynamic. Now it's clear that Dongmi has really strong romantic feelings for Xiun, and we sometimes bypass this by thinking that it's fine since they're around the same age, but nah, we need to remember that when they met, Xiun was underage and Dongmi was well above 20. Dongmi has also had numerous sexual thoughts about Xiun, and this is just not right. Child grooming is a crime, and Dongmi's actions are criminal. Furthermore, Dongmi basically killed her husband. This indicates that she is a danger to society. Sure, she didn't stab him or directly kill him with a weapon, but she fed him certain foods and hoped that he would have a stroke or heart attack and die. She also did not help him when he was having a heart attack right in front of her. Instead, she was silently rejoicing about her final liberation. Sapyeong was right to be wary of Dongmi, and I hope that Pyong is not too blinded by her fake relationship with Dongmi to see past the lies. Dongmi even drugged Pyong, so yeah, she belongs in jail. If Dongmi doesn't go to jail by the end of the season, the writers would have really failed. I say this because they would only showcase that Dongmi's actions are things that people can get away with, and this is sad for people who are victims of predators like her in real life. She either goes to jail or a mental hospital. If not, the drama for me will have failed in some way. Before we move on to the husbands and mistresses, I just want to talk about the wives. Lee Xiun is the eldest of the group and she has divorced her husband. I get that she stopped initiating sexual pleasure with her husband and that was one of his turnoffs, but I sure did not see him communicating that to her in words. He brought her to a hotel once and then afterwards he just became closed off. Since this was something that bothered him so much, he should have talked to her in my opinion so that they could find a solution to it. I think that Lee Xiun thought that she was loving him the way he needed to be loved by providing food, buying him a car, and taking care of their household. Instead, he felt unloved because physical touch seems to be his biggest love language. I say this because in the past he has tried to be intimate with Xiun and now he is always physical with Namgabin. This of course does not excuse the cheating in any way because it definitely contributed to the relationship falling apart. They didn't love each other in their love language and they also didn't communicate about their wants and needs. In the process, Xiun has stopped loving herself and taking care of herself as well. I'm really happy that now she wants to prioritize her own happiness. Sapyeong is in her 40s and she is still with her husband. She has just learned that her husband is cheating on her in the most recent episode, episode 8, and I'm not sure what she's gonna do about it all. Outside of her relationship, I think Pyong should have taken time to understand her mother instead of blaming her for her father's death. She also blamed her mother even though her dad was the one who had the affair. And now her mother is on her deathbed and Pyong regrets her actions. This plotline is sad, but I'm glad that she was able to sympathize with her mother while the latter is still alive. I hope that Pyong will take steps in reconstructing the relationships. Okay, now onto Pyong's relationship with her husband. She worships this guy, and that is a huge problem. She approached him with the intention to marry up, maybe for hypergamy purposes, but I'm not sure. Either way, in her eyes, her husband can do no wrong. It's like she thinks that she married a god when that is actually far from the truth. She always denies her suspicions because she thinks that he has no faults. It's like she thinks everyone else's husbands can do wrong, but not mine. I think that is also her way of separating her mother's situation from her own. She also wants her marriage to be successful no matter what. I'm glad that she will now recognize that her husband is flawed, and I sure hope that she will divorce him ASAP. Bueryong is the youngest of the wives, and I have a hard time understanding why she's staying with her husband Xion. I know I keep mentioning this and you guys may find it redundant, but it's just very frustrating to see. She is a strong-minded woman and she doesn't back down from a fight. She is also very prideful and rough when she speaks at times. Just like everyone, Haeryong has her own faults. Her actions and mannerisms can be seen as ill-mannered and condescending. She also sometimes has no regard for elders and doesn't treat them the way they want to be treated. But the thing is, that is how she is, and she is used to those things about herself. Even before she got married, she told Sion that she would not change, and yet he assumed that she would change. That was his mistake, and one of the reasons why their marriage fell apart. I also didn't see Sion attempt many serious conversations with Haeryong. Instead, he talked to someone about all his thoughts on their marriage. Communication is key in any relationship, and so a lack of it will definitely impact each specific relationships. I think that Sion and his parents should have actively voiced their concerns to Haeryong directly instead of talking behind her back. As someone who has had a failed marriage, you would think that someone would have an idea of how infidelity would impact a marriage. But alas, her actions indicate otherwise. Sungwon and Sion met at the gym, and we can't forget that the first thing he noticed about her was her butt. In general, Sion seems to be a superficial guy because the thing that attracted him to Haeryong at first was also seeing her playing the drums. I think we are trapped in this narrative because the narrative of the drama makes us want to root for someone in Sion. We see how he suffers in his relationship and how Haeryong seems to abuse him, or etc. Although I knew the affair was wrong, I found myself sympathizing with someone in Sion's love line while appreciating their so-called deep conversation. The truth is that most of their conversations were about his wife, so I don't quite understand how he can fall in love with someone while mostly talking about his wife. But hey, who knows? If Sion was not married and he somehow ended up with someone, I would have not minded, but he is married, and the two had an affair. Whether they slept together once does not minimize their affair. They are obviously also emotionally attached, which renders them both emotionally unavailable. Sion's parents adore someone because she fits the mold of what they expect for a wife and a woman. They would jump at the chance of the two being together. I really hope Haeryong divorces Sion because she does not deserve to be treated in such a way. No one deserves it, to be honest. I also want to point out how someone also always seems to be righteous and classy when she is in fact a mistress. I think she knows how to get people to favor her, which is why she acts in a certain way around people. As for Ami, I don't get this girl at all. She just landed in the country and she's already obsessed with a married man, calling it love or whatnot. And that's something I noticed about a lot of the characters, especially the husbands and their mistresses. They're always saying love really easily, and I'm always like, do you really know what love means? Anyways, Ami is such a young and beautiful woman, and instead of learning more about herself, loving herself, and focusing on her acting career, she goes after a married man who is clearly unavailable. Yushin also has his part to play in all this, of course, and he is not exempt from reproach. He talks big about how much he loves his wife and yet goes and cheats behind her back. His relationship with Ami makes me think of his relationship with Dongmi, and that scares me. Ami is clearly vulnerable, and it's as if he preys on that to be the person she depends on. He also has made various threats to her. One recent threat was when he told Ami that their relationship would be over if she didn't stay in the hospital. This is clear manipulation. I also want to call this child grooming because he uses similar tactics to Dongmi, but because Ami is way over the age of consent, I'm unable to do so. I know that our 20s are a very important moment for self-actualization and self-discovery, and I think the reason Ami is settling for a married man is because she doesn't know herself or her worth. She also has very apparent daddy issues and also mental health struggles. She is someone who needs help, and we can't forget that she thinks she's immature. This means that Ami knows she needs to grow up, and yet instead of growing up, she degrades herself to become a mistress. As someone older than her and with more life experience, Yushin should know better. Either way, it is a fact that they both committed adultery. It takes two to tango. I hope that Ami realizes her mental state, and I hope that she gets treated by a therapist after breaking up with Yushin. I think that her dad will help her in that aspect, and that is why I think it is imperative that he finds out that she is his daughter soon. I hope that Pyong dumps Yushin, by the way. Nam Gabin is not in love with Park Hae-ryun. He's obviously infatuated with her and enjoying their honeymoon phase, so he doesn't realize that their feelings are not 100% on the same wavelength. He knew that she came out of a relationship and that she wanted support, and he offered it so that she could quote-unquote move on. It's very despicable when people propose adultery as a way to help someone. It doesn't work like that. Nam Gabin could have gone to a therapist, and there she could have gotten the help that she needed. But no, adultery had to be the solution. Park Hae-ryun was ready to give up his family for his mistress, and he didn't look back. As soon as he did this, he acted like his kids were non-existent, and now he is shocked that he has a bad relationship with his kids. I find that to be laughable. The kids are still healing, but they are obviously detached from him because of all that has happened. I think that Park Hae-ryun is starting to realize why he had lost to be with his mistress, but he clearly still thinks that he made the right decision because to him, his own happiness is a priority. Hae-ryun is still in the victim mentality, by the way, and thinks his struggles are now being rewarded. I don't know in what world an affair would be considered a reward, but you guys can ask him for more insights since he is a college professor and he is also so-called wise. I think Nam Gabin still has unresolved feelings for her ex So-dun-man, by the way. I think that she also felt awkward when she saw So-bun because of her feelings for his brother. I don't think the marriage between Gabin and Hae-ryun will happen, but if it does happen, there will be many issues in my opinion. Also, Gabin is delusional in a way because she assumes that as long as she tries hard, her marriage will work out well. And that is what she told Xiun. In reality, Xiun tried really hard to make her marriage work out, and yet it still failed. I don't think Gabin is ready for marriage, and especially marriage with Park Hae-ryun. At the end of the day, all the characters are flawed, and they can continue to grow from here. Although they have made mistakes, some more than others, I believe that there's still hope for each character, and then they can grow from here and make better choices. After all, grace is available to all. Dongmi still needs to go to jail, by the way. Anyways, that was it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and let me know if you like these types of videos. Episode 9 and 10 will come out next week on Netflix, but you could find them on other drama sites as well, such as Dramacool. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Dramacool in any way. It's just a website that I use often. If you like this video and want to see more from me, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Take care, may God bless y'all, and until next time, bye!